Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Seasons, greetings, guys. This is going to be our last episode of the year, and we've got a fun one today. I think it's going to be the inaugural winners draft. We've never done this before. It could be a disaster. It could be something that's very fun. I don't know, but either way, we've got a great panel to help me break it down. Soly is back. Soly has his three kids, has an army of centuries just watching over them. I'm sure. What's up with you, man?
Big progress made at home. The cumulative age of our children has passed a year and a half now of the three
Let's
children.
go.
So that was a
There we go.
big milestone to reach. You know, it kind of feels like that day at Gray Walls where you guys played bogey golf.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like every. So if I make if
Wow.
a day is a bogey, that is a massive win, like a huge win.
Everybody seems to be
Christmas,
coming
Yeah,
around,
good
dude.
to see you coming around.
Christmas was Neil on the ninth hole at the Long Island Mid-Am. That was a 9, but look, we've bounced back with a couple bogeys, and we're on our way back.
Speaking of bogey golf, my partner in crime TC is here. Tron, happy Christmas to you, my man.
You as well, Deej. I feel like we're embarking on this is the culmination of the Fred X Cup and
It is.
all sorts of other things that we've done. The Corn Ferry Draft, all those things are rolling into what people are going to see today. I'm really excited.
It's a bit like the FedEx Cup. We're not too proud to admit maybe we didn't get it right in year one. We're ready to keep iterating, right? And the master of iteration, KVV, joining us from what, Montana? Is that right?
Deej, when I started in media, the old timers used to make a lot of cracks, a lot of jokes about people blogging from their basement, their parents' basement. Today, I am literally podcasting from my parents' basement. I want you to know that things have come
Congratulations.
full circle. I once was old media, now is new media, back turned old media.
Man, I used to be somebody in this business,
So true.
and now here we are. Before we get going, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Titleist. Let's just start basic. Last episode of the year, Solly, I want to start with you. What's your favorite thing we did with our friends at Titleist this year that they helped us make possible?
Well, I'll shout out something that's not out yet, but we did TC and I were at a shoot here in Jacksonville in early December, and it was just like, I don't know, it's hard to find this in golf or in anything of a brand that just totally gets it. That's just like, no, just go do this. Like they're not, we shot a bunch of video stuff that's going to come out on Titleist channels. They've had a bunch of stuff already come out on their channels that they just want to get us involved in, and it's not overly about the products. It's not overly like salesy. It's just like good golf content, and we got a bunch of that, and it was just like that's the only like work day I've had in the last 2 months, and it was such a joy. It was a true treat. So I just wanted to shout them out for that.
TC, anything spring to mind?
Based on the feedback I've gotten on the TPI thing, people are like, thanks for doing that. I'm like, thanks for watching. I didn't do anything. I just kind of put myself out there and I just got to do the actual work now. But no, I mean, even like I was talking to Joel Damon and he's like, oh, dude, like your fitness handicap's like the same as mine. I'm like, wait, you're on the PGA Tour? How's that
Imagine how
possible?
good at just like playing golf he must be.
Yeah, right. That was like I gained even more appreciation for his game. But no, I think it's been cool to see everybody kind of put themselves out there on that, and I think it'll be cool to see everybody like to track it here into the future and check back in with people as well, and get some new people in. Like Soly, you'd be perfect for it. KVV. I mean, people are clamoring for Randy.
Especially after seeing like Christo Lamprecht and what he's done out there. Like, we got to uncork another 150 yards out of Randy, I'm sure.
I'm worried I might hit the max when it comes to, I would say I loved the club championship, like something born out of like me just kind of making a joke about who was the best golfer at NLU, then comes full circle to her actually playing at a US Open course in Erin Hills. It was just obviously like, I wasn't going to be competitive in it, but it was just fun. I don't play a lot of tournament golf, so it was fun for me to actually like, you have to stand over and make a 3-footer that really matters.
That was the idea. People saying it should have been handicapped are missing the point. Like everybody was playing a little tournament internally, right? Some people's goal is to make the cut. Somebody just wants to beat the other guy. I love it. Question for you, KVV. This was born out of Ben passing me on the handicap. Like he had a lower handicap than me, so you're like, he's the best player. I have a lower handicap than Ben right now, despite getting my ass beat multiple times on this. Do you have to adjust your models on this?
We're going to get deep in the models this off season before things ramp back up. So I mean, I have to factor in the kids stuff too. I mean, like you have to factor in a few strokes here or there. It's unclear. We trust the models deep down. That's all I can say.
There's no bigger joke of a handicap in the entire country right now than me as a plus 1.4 that can't play any golf.
Soly, I got people are all up in the DMs, all up in the comments saying, Randy's a 5.9. How could a 5.9 average 85 for the year? And people need to educate themselves.
Almost like people should learn how the handicap system works, TC, instead
Truly
of just
should
YouTube
do an
commenting.
entire episode on how the handicap system works because people just do not
Won't solve a thing. Will not solve a thing. It's just embedded in golf culture now.
Sadly, it's a lot of internationals who are new to our system. It's a lot of like hardo Brits.
Well, I think it's a lot of people who, if I may, I think it's a lot of people who also play the same golf course every day, right? Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's, that's great. That's actually one of the joys of golf, I think, is really getting to know a place. But there's a lot of places, like a lot of people whose games just like don't travel, right? Who could just go out and shoot 76 at like a run of the mill golf course, and then they're like, "What the hell, man? Like I'm there's no way you're a 6. I'm a 6." Like, yeah,
they're not playing in
I'm
windy
like, no.
conditions.
Yeah,
They're not playing in different grass types.
So
And
I
your
would
12
put
worst
our
rounds just get
handicaps
thrown out. 12
exactly.
of your last 20 get thrown out and don't count for a damn thing. If I can go in and select 12 videos on our YouTube channel of my worst rounds and throw those out, yeah, all of a sudden I turn into a plus. But when you average it, that's not how it's going to work.
All right. Well, listen, we've broken contain already here. I guess
Mad as hell.
what I'm trying to say is shout out to Titleist, guys. Thank you to Titleist for a great year. Can't wait for another one in 2025. We are going to get to a couple different things before we get to our big draft. I want to talk TGL with TC. Soly's got a little stats look back we're going to do to, before we move forward, we must look at the past. So we're going to look back at 2024.
It's going to be brief. Don't turn off the pod.
And then we're going to get into our winners draft for 2025. So before we do any of that, TC, you had the chance to drive down to South Florida to go to TGL Media Day. We've got this coming up here pretty quick. This first round, first match, first tournament, first broadcast, first experience is January 7th. So that's going to be here before we know it. Before we get there, I just want to, take us to the Media Day, man. Take us inside the arena. What stood out to you?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's bring your dad to work day. Here, I got the franchise.
Hey,
how about that?
Hey guys, how you doing? I just picked up Todd's coffee for him, so I figured
I assumed that was one of his kids in there. Like, get out.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry
And
Christmas.
also with you.
Congratulations to Soly. I haven't seen you since the babies were born.
Thank you. Can you please come over and help?
Well, I came over the last time I was down, but everything looked like it was shut down. So I wasn't going to bother you. I figured you were also.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like,
Bunker
"Hey,
mentality,
I went over to Soly's place,
That was
and I was like, no, you didn't. You didn't knock on the door like you."
no,
And he's like, no, I didn't. I was like,
I rang the
God.
doorbell a bunch. Nobody came
I
down.
was walking the dog. Okay, I was walking the dog around. And,
So-
I want to go see Soly. And it was dark in there, Soly. It was dark. I figured
It's
you guys
been
were down.
very dark in here at times, let me tell you.
Well, I won't bother you guys anymore.
Good to see
Yeah.
you.
Good to see you guys.
He's gonna fall well over in the corner over there. What was I gonna say?
TGL Media Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take us there.
Yeah. So I drove down to West Palm. It's very, very like you just kind of pull up to the campus. It's like a community college campus, and all of a sudden there's just this massive, like, big box of a building, and it looks like a big distribution facility or something on the outside. And then you go in, and guys, I was pretty impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm bullish on this thing. I think
Let's
part of the
go.
thing is they don't know what it is yet, which I think, or the people that get it with them don't know what it is yet, which I think is a good thing. The ones that don't get it are trying to
Make it something.
yeah, explain it to everybody and say, no, this is what this is. And some people are like, no, like, we have no idea what this is. It's sick, but like, we have no idea what it is. So, you walk in, and I'm trying to think what the best comp would be. It almost feels like a hockey arena, like a smaller kind of college hockey arena. Like they've built the stands such that they can add on to the top of them, but there's kind of two levels, and there's kind of like these makeshift luxury boxes almost, but then there's seats all the way around. It's kind of like a U shape.
Can they tarp off seats when some of the shitty teams are playing?
Probably, yeah. There's an absolutely outrageous entrance thing. They got smoke and lights and
Yes,
the whole
WWE.
thing.
Come on.
Yeah, like at the Cowboy Stadium, you can sit there and watch the players go back through the tunnel and all that. You can do that here as well. But everybody's kind of around the green portion of it, looking towards the screen, and so the screen is like 4 or 5 stories high. I mean, it's freaking huge.
How
And
big
you
is
don't
it?
really
Will it fit?
Yeah, like, you don't really get like a true sense of it, even sitting in there, until somebody goes up and walks up straight up next to it, and then you realize the screen's like 14 times taller than they are. Like, it's crazy. Like, the green rotates. They got the jacks all up underneath
Did you
it.
count it to make sure there's actually 600 actuators?
I didn't, although I'm gonna go back in a future trip and
Okay.
and
Audit
take the
that.
underground tour and all that. But so many cameras, like, it's like every toy that you could ever imagine, from Olympics, NFL, NHL. They've got like that track cam that kind of follows stuff along. I don't know why they need that, because it's not like there's nobody running or anything. The lighting is crazy. Like, you feel like you're in a studio. So I think for the live audience, it'll be a little bit weird because they won't hear the players. Like, it's not on speakers or anything like that. So I think eventually they'll have to do like one of those earpiece things that they do at like the US Open, so you can listen to the radio or whatever. There's a big kind of broadcast booth up top, and then they've got some of the, like, Roger Steele will be inside of, kind of doing it for the live audience, and then Matt Berry will be there as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really, it's a big swing, which I really respect and appreciate. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it's going to be interesting, and it's not going to be like there's going to be winners and losers. Like, there's going to be certain guys that don't put themselves out there and don't get the benefit of the doubt from fans, or that try too hard and put themselves out there too much and fail miserably. Like, it's golf, but it's a different kind of golf, right? Like, I think there's going to be stuff like Soly, the grass is sick.
Let's
They've
go.
got
I've been trying to
uh
tell you guys.
they got
Did you get to
they
talk
got
to the
the
agronomist, TC?
I did. They
They're
got a
hitting
whole
out of
agronomy
they're hitting
team.
out of real sand.
Yeah, real sand. The rough is the only spot you can you have to drop it. So you got to drop it in the rough from knee height. Um
Do you
and
get to
yeah,
place it in the sand then?
I think you get to place it in the sand.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's like raked sand, so there's nothing like a Bernhard situation where you can place it on top of a tee or anything there. Yeah, the gameplay is really realistic. I think the one awkward thing is there's still that little gap between when the ball hits the screen and the ball continuing onward virtually. I talked to Mark Russell for a while, the rules guy. So the 40-second shot clock, it's really quick. Like, it's kind of awkwardly quick, and guys can't dilly dally. And Mark
Well,
insists that he's gonna enforce the hell out of it.
I was talking to Max a little
So
bit this week too, and he was saying that, like, maybe you can paint the picture for me, but there's almost like benches or like spots where the teams are going to be that's
yeah,
far enough away from where the tee box is to where Max was like, the shot clock's so fast that that's going to be like what generates all the talking. Is like, I don't have time to go back and talk to Tiger about like, hey, what shot should I hit here? I just got to kind of like yell it across at him. And I think there's going to be a lot of
yeah.
like good crosstalk with the teams kind of describing like strategy to each other. Which again, all
Which
this sounds
yeah, so they
ridiculous.
can
that we're
hear each
doing
other
this.
too, because
Yeah.
they'll have a earpiece in and everything. But yeah, I think there's like 2 or 3 timeouts, I think, which my concern was actually, is this going to be too fast? Because I want to hear Tiger talk through shots, or I want to hear guys have to make decisions or do strategy and all that. And I think in certain situations, there's not enough of an opportunity to do that because it's so fast.
Just hit a
Um,
little nipper. Just
You
the
see,
nipper.
greens.
You seem pretty optimistic about this. What should we be pessimistic about? What's going to be cringe about?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, some of these guys are going to be extremely cringe trying to just so Wyndham was there, Ricky was there, and Billy Horschel was there. And Billy's just talking a mile a minute. He was fine. And then Ricky, you could tell Ricky was actually trying to help the other guys because he had spent a lot of time in there. Like, I think he's practiced a lot. And there's definitely a rhyme and a reason to it. And you got to figure stuff out, especially around the greens. Like, there's grain in the turf,
Turf,
chipping wise.
Yeah.
Ricky was like, yeah, me and Tiger have been talking about this, and you got to keep your speed up through it, or you got to really just open it up. And then the greens don't have any imperfections, and a lot of these guys putt to a spot.
Yeah.
So there's no spot to putt to. So it's really it's that
That's sick.
studio light that's coming from all directions
Mhm.
too. So it kind of messes with the guys.
Are there greens books?
That's a great question. There should be, right?
I think if somebody aim points, they should move the green after they walk back.
I don't think they're gonna have enough time to aim point.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great news.
Yeah.
TC, did you get to discuss the temple with our
I
guy?
did. I talked to Pisa. I introduced myself. I said, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of the temple."
Which,
also
if
the sphere.
people are not familiar, this was of course the TGL hole that got released. That it's basically like two inverse triangles, kind of stacked up against each other. Is that right? Basically coming to a point in the middle, almost looks like an hourglass. Our guy,
There's some agronomy in there as well.
our guy
and some
Pisa
other-
was looking to play with triangles, and then kind of ran it back on the spear, which kind of looks like exactly the same hole. But
Well, it's part of the same school of design, right?
Yeah.
It's the temple school. Pisa said, and I quote, he said, "TC, thank you for your support. Simplicity is a very difficult thing to achieve, maybe the most difficult." And I said, "Well, I think you've achieved it with the temple, so mission accomplished there." Whereas I don't think the Nicholas design folks understood the assignment whatsoever. What else we got? I think there's houses in the there's virtual metaverse houses up there because they wanted it to look realistic. They're trying to win over some of the traditionalists, right?
that's such a bleak sentence, man.
That's hilarious.
That's such a dark sentence.
Well,
Like,
then
we're trying to
also,
convince
on that
people that this is
note,
real golf, so we wanted.
I'm not sure if
fake
like
housing
what's gonna
development in there.
get my parents to watch this is like houses in the background, but maybe.
well, they just said the more signals and things that we can tether it to reality with, and I said, well, that's I thought this was supposed to be utopian,
Sure.
not.
Any
Do
convo
you
around
get
the
sense-
unnecessary grandstands and the potential for TIO?
I talked to Mark Russell about that. I said, "Hey, how are we going to treat this, or whatnot?" And he said, "Well, I think so. There's a I think it's a 30-yard and a 15-yard, or a 40-yard and a 20-yard. Like there's two different sets of tee boxes. So I think the chipping is going to be a little strange, like that kind of trough from like 30 yards to 70 yards is going to be kind of awkward because that's not going to be like, it's like, all right, am I playing this into the screen? Am I turning around the other way and playing this from grass onto the chipping surface or whatever? So I don't know exactly how they're going to do that. Soly, he did say, he can't see the ball going out towards the physical stands. And I said, no, I'm not worried about the physical stands. I'm worried about the virtual stands on some of these holes. He said, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. He's going to be up on the second level.
Like the banker, Deal or No Deal?
Yeah. Like the banker in Deal or No Deal, or like, like the guys in the NFL that are sitting in New York in the studio just kind of watching stuff. And then there's that actual like retired NBA ref in like stripes roaming around. He's got a whistle and all that stuff, and he'll be calling plays or throwing flags and stuff like that. So if one player's gotten penalized for slow play thus far, I'm not at liberty to say who it is, but he was also one of the ones that was giving everybody else shit for playing slow, and then he got dinged for it. What else? Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like the whole ESPN part of it is, I think, a win for them. Like it's going to be on at 9 p.m. on January 7th, and every bar in America, right? Like I don't know how many people are going to be in a bar on Tuesday, January 7th. There's like three distinct parts of the season, right? There's like kind of the initial buzz, and there's the meat of the season, which is kind of that February, early March. Like they've got triple headers and stuff going on, and then they've got the playoffs after that as well. So I think the meat of the
No
season
love
will be
lost in the
pretty
playoffs.
competitive.
You can throw the
Exactly.
records out when you get to the
That's right.
playoffs from these teams.
Yeah.
TC, do you get the
But,
sense that the fans will be like genuinely into this, or will it be like crisis actors that they hire in the beginning to sort of, I mean, clearly all of us are true fans of each of our squads, but
Who's your squad, KVV?
It's it's DJ and I have the same one. It's the San Francisco team.
No,
right?
it's LA.
Hey.
LA.
Oh God, I've already forgotten. But, that's all.
I think me and you were LA. Neil and Tron were the Bay. Is that right? Randy and Jordan were Jupiter Lynx, and I think the rest of the squad was
Steve Cohen.
Steve Cohen.
Bullfrog.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's like
no,
Neil's
Cody
theory.
was a Ball Frogs fan.
Cody was definitely Bullfrogs.
It's like Neil's theory about Google traffic, how they will send people different directions to like maintain flow. I swear those answers were randomly generated.
It
I
might have
was
been.
like all the answers. I was like, yeah, I like adventure and I like small towns. I was like, okay, boom, New York is your team.
Soly, you need to be I think you need to be our lone Atlanta Drive fan.
I think I'm Team Jupe Links. I mean, they got Max, they got my guy Young Tom Kim, they of course got the cat. I live in Florida. It's as close as I get to a hometown team. I'm probably gonna get blacked out of a lot of their home games, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But look, I think they're gonna be the worst team. So naturally that would be the one that I would pick.
Okay. Well, we don't have any Atlanta Drive fans. Dick Sullivan and the gang.
They might need to win us over.
Yeah. But
prove it,
yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see. I'm sure there's gonna be all sorts of kinks. I don't see any way that they could have pulled this off without the dome being destroyed.
You think it was an
or
inside
the
job?
bubble.
That's convenient.
I heard they didn't have insurance on it. So like it wasn't some sort of insurance scheme, but
That's a way to throw the scent off the trail. It's
yeah, I
interesting.
just can't see this thing being, coherent in the dome. So it's and I think if nothing else, it's gonna be like one of the sickest like private event spaces you could ever imagine. Like if
Yeah.
you're a golf company and you want to have a driver release or a putter release or do a live, kind of VIP demonstration of, hey, we're gonna get an instructor in here and he's gonna, show us different stuff. Like it's pretty. It's like a soundstage studio thing. There just happens to be a couple thousand people that can sit in there too. So
I need some party attendees popping ACLs trying to get hyped coming out of that tunnel at a insurance Christmas party.
Somebody's gonna Ray Lewis that gotta
Exactly.
Ray Lewis that tunnel.
I think
this is not a question for the
yeah.
intro. I'd be a deep dive into the economics of this thing would be something I'd be interested in, right? Like, is it all just?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure all these billionaire owners are eating a lot of the upfront costs, but like, does the ESPN deal worth that much? Like, it's not worth anything if the ESPN rights fee isn't, good for the long term. I know it's not going to make money year one, I assume, but it's a question for a different day.
They've got some corporate sponsorship stuff. I know the thing costs $70 million to like the place, but it seems like they can improve it if it is successful, or like they've got some outs, I think, if not. But yeah, I don't know. Like my biggest concern was basically the players aren't good at carrying stuff, and a lot of them don't have charisma or a lot of personality or conversational skills, and it's just going to be the same tired jokes after the first 3 weeks, and people are just going to tune it out. But I think there's enough different teams and there's enough different variables. Like these, like I think it's probably going to look way different week 8 versus week 2. Right. And I think that's part of the interest for me, at least, is seeing how they evolve this thing and seeing like actually creating something from scratch that existed in someone's mind,
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to watching it, TC. I think I'm going to actually be down in Jack's for the first one, so we might need to go to one of those bars you mentioned and fire it up together. And I think we're going to do
New York versus your local team.
New York versus the Bay. Oh, that's good. Well, I don't have a dog in that fight, so I won't be.
And then we got and then the following week is LA versus Jupe.
Oh gosh.
So, yeah.
Man, watch yourself.
Solid little side wager on that.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Well, I think we're gonna have a podcast at least after the first one. I think we're gonna do a little bit of a "What did we just watch" podcast. So watch this space there. TC, I appreciate you getting out there and
good stuff.
And finding some nuggets. That's good stuff.
I did turn to Kyle Porter. We're standing there with Mark Russell. Oh my God, Mark just starts going off about slow play on the tour and all this stuff. And I was like, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
And
it's a bit of we're all looking for the guy who did this sort of situation.
And Kyle was, and then he just singled out Andrew Loop. He was like, man, that guy, he's so slow. I was like, they're all slow, man.
God.
But he said, I turned to Kyle and I was like, this is like a whole month's worth of content for your normal sport thing. Like we're sitting there.
He had to be ODing.
Who would have imagined this 5 or 6 years ago?
It might be too big. It might be too normal sport. All right, before we let's keep it moving here. Before we get into Soly's rules quiz, I want to take a moment to celebrate our 2024 golf season with Gin Rewind, brought to you by Century Insurance. A lot of handicap talk that was not part of this ad read earlier on, but just shows how important it is. Available now on your USGA Gin app, the 2024 Gin Rewind has evolved from a single-page overview to a multi-slide interactive experience for golfers to dive deeper into their season. If you are not familiar with this, we did a whole rundown of ours on last week's episode. Would encourage everybody to go listen to that. Highlights include handicap index changes throughout the year, best and toughest rounds, easiest and hardest courses you played, total number of rounds you posted, and where you played the most. Don't miss out in 2025. If you don't already have a handicap index, now is the perfect time to sign up and download the USGA GIN app presented by Century Insurance, so you can post your scores, track your handicap index, and unlock personalized golf insights like the GIN Rewind. Sign up for a handicap index today at usga.org/get-a-handicap, usga.org/get-a-handicap, and download the USGA GIN app to prepare for an amazing 2025 season. And you can easily share your GIN Rewind with your friends on social media. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those flying around over the last couple weeks. Get involved, go post yours, tag us, tag the USGA, tag everybody. Everybody wants to see these. It's weirdly fun, man. Just watching what everybody else did and seeing their breakdowns. And
I pause on all of them. Like
I do
it's
too. I
great.
know.
It's good stuff.
And speaking of that, well, I got numerous texts this week from our episode last week. KVV was not on, but I was kind of presenting some highlights from the rest of the team's USGA GIN recap. And for people that didn't listen, or even for people that did, Kev, can you talk to us about your highest score that you posted last year?
So the Roost here in Baltimore, like organized an event at Clifton Park, which is it's a true like dog track in the middle of the city, but like a lovely history, great, it costs $35 to walk or whatever. So I was trying to get my daughter to play in more tournaments. She had played in a bunch of like kids tournaments here, and I was like, what if we played in the Roost event? This will be so fun. And she was like, all right. She's kind of reluctant about it. And I think, she'd been used to just playing against other kids like her age. So she showed up there and it's like, 40, 35-year-old dudes like, oh, what's up, KVV? What's going on? And so I think she was a little bit nervous. I was like, no, it'll be fun. Like, let's go, you'll plan from the forward tees, all, and stuff. And so DJ, I've told you before, like one of the, the worst thing about my golf mental game is that I just like pull the slot machine every day and like think of a new swing thought. And so it was one of those days when I was like, yeah, nothing is working for me. And I'm trying to like be a dad the whole time. I'm trying to like get her to, and she's like playing really good, but also like really sour the entire time at me, like for, making her play this tournament. And she's a spoiled country club kid. So she's, it's like, there's like sticks and rocks and there's like syringes by the side of the road here and broken bottles and broken dreams. What kind of place is this? And so, but she's playing really good. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm just hitting it like terribly all over. And like there's always all these like stories in golf lore about, the first time I beat my dad, such an emotional moment for me. It was so cool. And I was like thinking, someday, like maybe when Keegan's like 15 or 16, like she's pretty good. I'm not good, obviously. And it'll be this kind of big emotional moment when she finally beats me after falling short a few times. Well, like midway through the round, I was like, holy crap, like she's like 4 strokes ahead of me. This sucks for me. So I was like, okay, I cannot have this day be the day that she beats me. This is not particularly cool. And so she started to kind of like leak oil a little bit on the back nine. I don't think she knew like really that closely that we were that close in score. But I was like made a couple pars in a row. I was like, okay, cool. I think I'm gonna get her. And she made like an unbelievable par on the last hole, which is like this really long par 5. It's kind of probably the coolest hole at Clifton Park. And I added up the score and I realized, oh my God, like she beat me by a stroke. Like I played like shit, but like, this, she was 11 at the time. Like this, yeah, she hadn't turned 12 yet. And I was like, crap, like this is the moment. Like she won straight up and I got her posted score. Like this is a tournament. Like I can't like, and so we sit in the car afterwards and I said, Keegs, I added up the score and you won. Like you beat me. Like, how does it feel? She's like, it's fine. And I was like, no, like, but like, you won. Like, isn't it? And she's like, well, you weren't playing good. So I kind of thought I would beat you. And I was just like, I have the whole thing recorded on my phone because I was like, I kind of wanted it for
this will be so cute.
And I was just like, yeah. And she was just like, yeah, Dad, like you suck today. Like it was not that surprising. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're moving on from this big emotional moment. But no, it's so cool. It's just fun to like. She's got a beautiful swing, and all the people there were really super nice. And she was just driving the piss out of it that day, and I was obviously playing awful. And so yeah, that's my big emotional moment is that my daughter shot a 96 to my 97.
Kevin, does she also go by KVV as well?
She does, yeah. Someone
Little
called
KVV.
her that. Someone called her that like probably 2 years ago, and like a light bulb went off in her head, and she was like, "Oh my god, yes, I am also KVV."
I'm the real
That's
KVV.
yeah. So we have what we call KVV Club, where we just go out and play golf, or just the two of us, or watch movies, or do stuff away from her other two sisters, and so that's like her quite cherished time in the world.
That's good stuff. Again, point of that, get a handicap. Those
Yeah.
are the kinds of things that you're gonna be tracking your scores. Soly, you want to take us to a little look back at 2024
I
before we
would
get
love
into our
to.
draft?
Our friends at Data Golf have a great little Data Golf Awards that they've handed out. It's right there on their homepage. As soon as I saw this, I was like, this is going to be great fodder for the podcast. I'm going to introduce the topic to you guys, and I'm going to see if you can fill in who the winner of this award is, right? So the first one's not going to be very difficult, but there's a little color around every single one of these. But who do you think the Data Golf Player of the Year was for 2024?
I think I know this one.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta be Scotty.
There's
I'm
no
gonna go
Jeopardy
Scotty
system
Scheffler.
here. Feel free to shout it out. I think. Listen,
Who
I'll
is
give.
Scotty
This is the free space. It was Scotty Scheffler. He had 9 worldwide wins. They have a new Data Golf points system, which I haven't even dug into yet.
Data boy.
But he
Data
had
bills.
the best non-Tiger Data Golf points season since 1983. Also, the best non-Tiger strokes gain, total strokes gain season since 1983. So all the things we've said of best since Tiger, literally best since before Tiger as well. Like literally since they started actually counting numbers since 1983, he's been the only one that's been as good as everybody else but Tiger, or better than everyone else but Tiger. Honorable mention for Player of the Year was, of course, Xander Schauffele. He had the several worldwide wins, or had the 2 worldwide wins. Had 110 Data Golf points. Scotty Scheffler had 173, so it was not close, and that standing is very, very funny to look at. But he had plus 2.58 true strokes gained. But that's the boring ones. Who was the breakout player of the year by strokes gained? Most improved player in the Data Golf rankings in 2024.
Max Grazerman.
He is
I would
honorable
say-
mention. That's
That's
a
what
great
I was
guess.
gonna say as well.
Austin Eckroat.
Billy
Incorrect. It is incorrect. Big shot Bob McIntyre
Wow.
was the
Oh,
biggest
Haters
mover.
are furious.
Honorable mentions were to Max Grazerman and Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. Were the honorable mentions to that one. So
I was gonna say that KVV cut me off though.
So that was by strokes gained. Who was the breakout player? The largest difference between 2024 Data Golf points and previous best season. And
Those
it's
are
not
different things.
Scotty. I'll tell you. Yeah. So it's whoever had their So the previous one was who improved the most in the rankings. This is like who had their biggest leap between their best season.
Matthew Pavon.
Ooh, that's
Not a bad guess,
Good
but
guess.
he is a honorable mention on this one.
Oh,
You get a point for that. That's a good guess.
thanks, bud. Appreciate you.
Oh God, Tom Kim.
Can I guess again, Sully?
Sure.
Aaron Rye.
I was gonna say Aaron
Oh,
Ryan.
that's a good one.
You guys are fishing in the right buckets for later on, but it's Xander. Xander had the largest difference in points between his previous best season. He
That's
edged.
crazy because he's been so good for so long.
They said Scotty technically won this by 2 points, but they couldn't technically give him the breakout player and the best player of the year. He was the best player of the year to start the year, but then also had his best season, and they couldn't give him the award.
It's like when Steve Stricker won
back to back.
Exactly.
Comeback player of the year.
Exactly.
Who had the year to forget? Who had the biggest drop in Data Golf rankings in 2024? This one hits
Links
home.
Master Jord.
Ooh,
It's home closer than that.
I was gonna say
Max.
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 It's Max home run. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Max. Honorable mentions there were Vincent Norman, your boy TC, and Adam Schenk.
Hmm.
Who is
Also your boy.
the close but no cigar? This is like the person that was closest to winning a tournament, the highest probability at any point to win a tournament this year, and did not win it. We have
More
said
power.
the name.
Max
so far.
Grazerman.
It is Max Grazerman. He gave up a 4-shot lead with 5 holes to play, a 97% win probability. And in a year of what ifs for Rory, he showed up in 3 of the top 7 entries on the list. Honorable mention went to John Rahm at the Olympics, Rory at the U.S. Open, Irish Open, and Dubai Invitational.
Jeez.
It's unfortunate. Who had the biggest comeback of the year? Biggest win probability, got the lowest, and came back to win.
Would it be Scotty at the Players?
It is Scotty, but not at the Players.
Scotty
It
at
is
the Olympics.
Scotty at the Olympics. He was 6 shots back with 8 holes to play, had 0.4 win percent probability. Honorable mention went to Hideki at the Genesis, which he ended up winning by 3 shots, but his win probability was crazy low at that point. The major performer of the year, most cumulative strokes gained in the majors relative to their expectation.
Gotta be Xander.
It is Xander.
Is this
that is
objective
correct.
expectation or
The guy
subjective
who won half.
Data
of
golf.
My personal expectations are very low, but
that's not a guarantee though. There, like you could have, if somebody's has a shitty resume but had 2 good major appearances, you could have won it. So the honorable mentions here were Bryson, Billy Horschel, and Justin Rose. So I found that interesting. All right, who got the most out of their year? The largest difference between the Data Golf points and their rank by average strokes gained. So kind of picture Data Golf points as FedEx Cup points. Like it's kind of out of balance. Like you can have a shitty strokes gained, highlighted by some really bad tournaments, but if you peak really hard, you got a lot out of it. So picture it that way. Who got the most out of their year?
Maybe Big Shot Bob.
He's an honorable
Corey
mention.
Connors.
Big Shot Bob's an honorable mention.
Austin Eckroat.
Keegan
Good
Bradley.
guess, but not accurate. The other honorable mention was Wyndham Clark, and the winner was Matthew Pavon.
The blow pig getting a lot out of some.
Squeezing the juice. For those limited
Who got this is the last one. Who got the least out of their year? Largest difference between the season long, rank by their strokes gained and their rank by Data Golf points. Who got the least out of their year?
Gotta be Morikawa.
How about Adam Scott?
Tommy.
It is John Rahm. And then honorable mentions there were to JT and Sam Burns. So basically, John played good golf this year, just did not have the peak results, did not have really good.
Is that bringing in live results with
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't broke down how they've done their points, but I just found that. I mean, if you look back at his strokes gained for the year, he had a solid golfing year. He didn't lose his game, but just did not get the results out of it. So that's it. That's the Data Golf Awards. I really like what they did with those.
I like the points, right? Try to introduce some sort of wins above
Shadow
replacement
points.
type of scale. It's good stuff. All right, guys, should we get into the main event? The winners draft. This was an idea that we've had for a couple months now, I think, just kind of rattling around. Of course, it starts as a very simple, what if we just tried to predict the winners of each event? Eventually turns into the fucking US tax code, which is what we've got going on here. So I will do my best to explain the rules, but the basics of what we're going to do, the main thesis here is we're trying to identify winners. We're trying to identify dogs. We're trying to identify the people that all that matters is winning, despite everything we just heard. And we're trying to identify the people who are going to hoist trophies.
Anti-data boy.
We're
This is the real goal.
Trying to identify people who are going to hoist trophies in 2025. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to make predictions. We're going to do a normal snake kind of fantasy style draft. You can only pick each player one time, and you have to match them up with a tournament that can only be picked one time. For instance, if I had the number 1 pick, I might pick Fred Couples at the Masters. That would be a very bad pick. But if that was the case, I would get a designated number of points. And the way that we're going to dish out the points is that if your player wins any non-major, so let's say I pick Fred Couples at the Masters, but Fred Couples wins the Memorial. Seems unlikely, but
huge.
Yeah, I would get 1 point for that. If Fred Couples wins the US Open, another major outside of the Masters, I would get 5 points for that, and so on. At the events that I picked him for, so Fred Couples at the Masters, if he wins a major, I get 10 points. If he finishes in the top 5, I get 3 points. If he finishes in the top 10, I get 2 points. Non-majors, it's scaled back, 5 points, 2 points, 1 point. Does all that somewhat make sense so far? Okay.
We will post these online so that it's easier to keep track of as well.
And the other wrinkle, which was a submission from the committee that I really enjoy, is that each team is also must pick a wild card pick. So we're going to use the PGA Tour schedule to frame this draft. It's the most constant, consistent thing, and so that's going to be the core of what we're picking. But each person also has to pick a wild card, which can be from any other tour. So you could pick Nelly Korda from the LPGA. You could pick John Rahm from Live. You could pick a Korn Ferry Tour player. You could pick Bernhard Longer on the Champions Tour.
I didn't even think about champions.
Whatever
Jeez,
you
yeah.
want to pick, and you would get points for their wins on any given tour as well. So does that part make sense? Do we have any questions?
Just to tie a quick bow, I know we did like a pro golf fantasy draft, me, TC, and Neil last year. This is a totally separate thing, just to update the standings on that one. TC was in third with 5 points. Neil was in second with 7 points, and I did manage to win that one with 62 points. But this is a totally
but that's
different,
a 10-year thing, though.
It's a 6-year thing, and
Or
year
6-year
one
thing.
of 6 is in the books.
You didn't
This
win
is just for
anything.
2025. Yeah,
You're just in the lead.
So early in this, man.
Yeah.
All right, so
you're not even 20% of the way through.
I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet if you're watching on video. If you're not watching on video here, this is our list of tournaments that we're going to be filling in. And the draft order, which was randomized, I was assured, is going to be Tron with the number 1 pick, Soly with the number 2 pick, KVV with the number 3 pick, and myself with the number 4 pick, and then coming back on the snake with number 5, then KVV, then Soly, then Tron, and then we'll snake it back. So, TC, you're on the clock. We have the power of editing on this one, so we might be trimming this down, as I'm sure everybody's thinking this through in real time. Your number 1 pick, please.
Scotty Scheffler at the Masters.
Seems like the biggest kind of no-brainer, right?
That's big of you, TC, to put your biases aside and take Scotty. I know that was must have been, you were up late last night, just like torn over whether you could do this, and you just went ahead and did it for the squad.
I'm up next. I am going to take Xander Schauffele to win the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow.
Wow, we're looking for some repeats here.
It's about playing the odds, about playing the math here.
Okay. KVV.
I am going to go wild card right off the start and go John Rahm to win the Open Championship at Portrush.
God, that's good stuff. I think we didn't really realize it right away, but yeah, that's the wild cards are unbelievably valuable. Can be kind of almost like a
Well, that's probably the MVP, because if John Rahm were to hit in this, I would get the major points. I would also get live points for all of his wins for live. If he plays European Tour, DP World Tour, such, but he has to play some, I'll get those points. So I think the light bulb went off this morning of like, oh my God, those are pretty valuable.
All right. Well, I really like where I'm at here on the snake. I am going to take, obviously going to go US Open here, and I'm going to take Ludwig Oberg to win the US Open. And then coming back on the snake, I am going to take my wild card, and I'm going to take Nelly Korda to win the US Women's Open at my beloved Erin Hills. Which takes us back to KVV.
All right. I am going to take Rory McIlroy.
I forgot about Rory. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. And I'm going to take Rory to win the BMW Championship.
Okay. God,
so we've got
should have picked
2
Rory
wild cards off the board.
What was I doing?
2 wild cards are off the board.
2 wild cards are off the board.
I am going to take Patrick Cantlay to win the Memorial.
Hammer.
That's pretty good.
That is a good one.
TC gets double pick here.
I am going to take Bryson DeChambeau to win Live Chicago.
That's good stuff.
See, I was hoping it would do this. Now I can wait until the final round to do my wild card.
Exactly.
This is true.
And then I am going to take Will Zalatoris to win the Genesis Invitational.
Love that.
I am going to take Hideki to win the Players.
And I will unbold this because the Players is not counting as a major. We didn't know if Neil was going to be here or not, so we were going to count 5 majors. But all right,
that PGA Tour paycheck didn't come through in time.
That's right, exactly.
I had Ludwig for the Players. That was going to be my big, big announcement.
Who
got the first pick? Unfortunately,
who are you at? KVV.
All right, I am picking Victor Hovland to win the Arnold Palmer.
All right, it is my pick. I am going to take, with my first pick on the snack, Colin Morikawa to win the Century.
Nice.
Had that one as well.
And then I am going to take another one that I know is on Soly's list, and that's going to get me out to an early lead here. Sahith Tagala
That waste
to
man.
win the Phoenix.
Yeah, damn it.
God, this is gonna get bleak.
This is where the value is, baby. TC, this is what you've always wanted.
I know.
All right, it's my turn. I am going to take, in a bounce back year, Justin Thomas to win the Valspar. Please enter the Valspar, Justin Thomas.
I'm going to take Large Tone to win the Farmers Insurance Open.
Farmers Only, insuranceopen.com. Tony Finau, Soly. Okay.
Is it me?
It is you.
I'm gonna take Keegan Bradley to win the Travelers.
Well, I really like that one.
I think Keegan's gonna have a year.
That's good stuff. I like that one, TC.
And then I am going to take.
It's gonna be tough if Scotty wins like 14 times.
That's not true. You got to pick the events away from that Scotty's not going to play.
I'm going to take Nick Dunlap to repeat at the Amex.
I like that.
All right. I'm going to take Sam Burns at the Schwab.
Has he won there before?
He has. He beat Scotty.
That's right. Was that the return to golf?
No, that was no.
Or no, DB won
That's right.
The return to golf, right?
All right. I am going to take I'm going to take Michael Thorbjornsson to win the John Deere.
Fishing in the same ponds, KVV.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to continue just front loading the sketch here. And I'm going to take Shane Lowry to win the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Nice.
Bad weather, small greens, things of that nature. And then I'm going to take, what other BDEs do we have left on here? Ooh, I know where I'm going to go. Oh, God. All right. TC's going to love this one. I'm going to take Thomas Fleetwood to win the Truist Championship.
Oh,
at Philly Cricket.
At Philly Cricket.
God, I had somebody dialed up for that one, but I'm really, like, my heart is full that you picked Tommy.
Can we just let that? What round are we in?
Classic winner.
TC let Fleetwood go this far. Exactly. It tells the whole story.
100%
it tells the entire story.
Well, no, I had Tommy. Listen, I can share who I've got winning everything if we're not doing picks. I had Tommy winning the Open at Portrush. Okay.
But you let Tommy go this far down the board. Like that says it all.
Eddie, you could have taken him with the first pick.
We don't need to litigate anymore.
Did you pick twice? It's my turn now.
I did.
Right? Okay. I'm going to take the Blow Pig to win the Canadian Open.
Bleak.
Is he going to show up at the Canadian Open?
I don't know for sure, TC. I hope so.
That was my big concern of like, all right, I got to pick a lot of 70 to 120 guys or 60 to 120 guys.
That could be a Canadians, but that could give him coverage for all the Siggy events.
Yeah, for all the wins.
True. You don't have to match him up. I'm going to take Russ Henley to win. Is the Sony still available? I assume I can't see the sheet. Yeah, I'm going to take him to win the Sony.
That's a good pick.
Site of his first victory. We're starting to get into just real players only here.
Yeah. I am going to take DB straight vibin.
Damn it. That was my sleeper, TC.
The Houston Open.
Oh, God, I love that. That's a good pick.
I was going to pick him for Waste Management for some reason.
I was going to pick him for an opposite field, right? He's not in the signature events. Feels like he's just going to feast on people at like the ISCO or something.
Let's see here. And then I will go. Have we done Heritage yet?
We have not.
I'll go Austin Eckroat at the Heritage.
Wow.
it on your list?
Okay.
Wow, good wow or bad wow?
I thought there was an obvious one for Heritage, but okay. I don't even know where to slot him. All right, I'm going to
Who would
take
be the obvious one for Heritage?
Fitz. Is he gone already?
He is
No,
not gone.
I just don't
No,
think
he's
he's
still
very good anymore.
I'm going to take Tom Kim to win the Scottish Open.
Ooh,
Had that too, Soly.
like that.
I knew I was going to get him last round, but I knew you wouldn't take him in the
No.
snake, so I could come back for that one.
I am going to pick Luke Clanton to win the Wyndham.
Love it.
Ooh.
God, I had the
What
same one,
happened?
KVV.
He'll be a professional golfer by then, and
Yeah.
he'll be ready to go. He'll have just enough taste of the tour life to close it.
All right. What do we got left? We got a lot of Oppo events left.
Oppo like taco.
We've got kind of the bottom of the barrel here.
No, there's still plenty of mid-barrel stuff.
I am
You
going
got
to take.
Texas Open. You got Cognizant. You got Century.
No, I took Century already.
Who'd you take for Century?
Morikawa. I am going to take at the 3M Open Max Grazerman.
Good pick.
Like that.
And then TC, I am going to go probably to the Cognizant. Let's get interesting here. Who's going to win the Cognizant? Oh, you know who I'm going to take? At the Cognizant is Keith Mitchell.
Nice.
That was mine, Deej.
Really?
Yep.
There's an
Good pick.
unbelievable name still on the board that I just realized.
Well, now that makes me second guess my pick here.
No, just
He's
go ahead and
still
take it.
on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know if he's gonna play this event, but I'm gonna say Max Homa and the Rocket Mortgage. I feel like bounce back here for Max. He'll give me some points one way or another.
You gonna play the Rocket Mortgage?
No, probably not. CC,
Doesn't
but
matter.
I don't.
But he's
I
got it
don't
for the
see.
rest of the year.
Do you think he's gonna play Barracuda? Do you think he's gonna play the ISCO? Do you think he's gonna play the
You should
Myrtle
You
Beach?
should get points deducted if your player doesn't tee it up in said
Can't be
event.
changing the rules midstream here. We all know
DJ.
what they were.
Give me that name, and give me him for the Valero.
You don't want him for the Byron Nelson. Interesting.
Yeah,
Who's the name?
it's Jordan Spliff.
Jordan Spieth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I don't know. That was my Valero pick. What round are we in?
I don't know. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks plus Solly's wild card left.
Let's see here. We're deep in the mines right now, guys.
He sees Bitcoin mining for deep names, for trying to unlock something.
Let's go Nikolai Højgaard at
I
the
like that.
CJ Cup Byron Nelson.
Yeah.
And let's go Rasmus Højgaard at the Mexico Open.
And to clarify, for these their DP Tour World Tour wins do not count.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know.
I think that's the
I-
wild card are the only
I
ones
think that's
that they
got to
count
only be the
outside.
wild card. Yeah, I think
That's
that's right.
right.
I think that's right.
All right, some very interesting names still on the board. Okay, there's only 5 tour events left that are open. That's the Puerto Rico Open, the Corrales Punta Cana, the Myrtle Beach Classic, the ISCO, and the Barracuda. So it's all Oppo events.
You should pick an influencer at the Myrtle Beach.
Give me Cameron Young for the Puerto Rico Open.
Wow. Bleak.
I will take Justin Lauer to win the Barracuda. No, excuse me. No, I don't want the Barracuda. I want the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Okay. Lauer. All right. So 2 picks for yours truly. I am going to take Yoel Damon to win the Punta Cana.
Good value.
Good value there. And that means with my final pick, gosh,
So many names out there.
I know.
Some disrespectful shit going on.
We should
Yeah,
roll.
we got
through
what?
the names
Hideki,
that didn't get picked. Sanjay.
Billy,
Hideki's been
taken.
picked.
Sungjae.
Sungjae.
Hideki's-
I'm good on
Hideki got picked.
Sungjae.
Oh, Hideki got picked. Adam Scott.
Yeah. Justin Rose.
Team Rose still on the board.
I'm kind of good on those. You know who I'm going to take, TC?
Don't.
I don't know he's not playing any of these events that are left, but I will say at the Barracuda, give me Davis Thompson.
Okay.
I think he's going to win golf tournaments.
All right. Give me Eric Cole, country music sensation, Eric Cole.
Okay.
At the ISCO?
At which event?
I think the ISCO.
Okay.
All right, so for my wild card, I will take Brooks Koepka to win Live King Abdullah Economic City, although they're calling it Live Riyadh now. Is that a different course?
Yeah, Riyadh Golf Club, I believe.
Oh crap, that changes things. I still Brooks.
Riyadh.
I'm taking Brooks to win that one.
All right, that means TC. The final event is the FedEx St. Jude.
Yeah, I'm going with a fucking specialist for this one. My guy H.E. Harris English, FedEx St. Jude.
All right, that is the inaugural 2025 winners draft. Soly, can you please tell the people who'd you get? Who'd you get at the grocery store?
In order of the events and how they appear on the calendar, plus the wild card. Russell Henley at the Sony. I got Tony Finau at the Farmers. Cam Young at the Puerto Rico Open. That's more of a play for the rest of the events, of course. Hideki at the Players. He's still robbed of that one in 2020. He's coming for it. Jordan Spieth at the Valero. Xander at the PGA Championship. Sam Burns at the Schwab. Patrick Cantlay at the Memorial. Tom Kim at the Scottish Open. And my wild card was Brooks Koepka at Live King Abdullah Economic City. All
right. I got Colin Morikawa at the Century, Shane Lowry at Pebble Beach, Sahith Theegala at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, Keith Mitchell at something called the Cognizant at Palm Beaches, Joel Damon at the Punta Cana. He looks great in the hat. Tommy Fleetwood at the Truist, proven winner. Ludwig Oberg at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Davis Thompson at the Barracuda. Max Grazerman at the 3M. My wild card was Nelly Korda at the U.S. Women's Open. TC.
Real quick, Soly, I just want to be clear. You Live Riyadh, because I think there's
Riyadh.
also going to be one. Okay, you said King Abdullah Economic City that's Jeddah. That's going to be a completely different tournament.
There's two?
They might have. They haven't come out with the back half of the year.
Whole draft to think about it too.
Okay, well, it's Live Riyadh for official the event.
Okay, that's the first.
I just don't. I don't like King Abdullah Economic City erasure.
Sure.
All right, that's been one of my building blocks of my whole campaign for several years.
Yeah. Well, TPC Riyadh, good fit for Brooks. All right, me. Yep. I've got Nick Dunlap at the Amex, Trill Zalatoris at the Genesis, Rasmus Højgaard at the Mexico Open, DB Straight Vibin at the Houston Open, Scotty Scheffler at the Masters, Austin Eckroat at the RBC Heritage, Nikolai Højgaard at the Byron Nelson. I have dose Højgaards. Keegan Bradley at the Travelers, Harris English at the FedEx St. Jude, and Bryson at Live just outside Chicago is my wild card.
KVV.
I got Victor Hovland to come back and win the Arnold Palmer, Justin Thomas to win the Valspar, Justin Lauer to win the Myrtle Beach Classic, the Blow Pig Wyndham Clark at the Canadian Open, Max Homa to win the Rocket Mortgage, Michael Thorbjornsson to win the John Deere, country music sensation Eric Cole to win the ISCO, Luke Clanton doesn't have a PGA Tour card at the moment, to win the Wyndham, Rory McIlroy to win the BMW, and John Rahm, my wild card, to win the Open Championship.
All right, how are we feeling? Any regrets? I'm going to admit to maybe forgetting about Rory McIlroy in that first round, but other than that, I feel really solid. Soly, how you feeling?
I thought you were making a statement with that. Honestly, it was between Rory and Xander for Quail Hollow for my pick. I think I'm regretting that just a little bit because I think Rory's still going to clean up some PGA Tour events. I'm not sure if any of it's going to matter.
Having some of the other wins just along the way, right?
Well, this was maybe one on the coin flip, though. I mean, Scott, we just did this whole exercise, and Scotty's still gonna just obliterate folks, and I don't see a path. I don't see a path to victory here.
You gotta do like a lot of these other baseball teams, man. You gotta just you gotta win in other places. Like we might not be competing for a World Series, but we gotta try to get to 85, 90 wins and somehow save face.
So with Rory, if Rory wins like the Dubai Desert Classic, KVV does not get points.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's why the Live guys were super valuable in the wild card spot, or Nelly, because she's going to rip off a bunch of wins. Some regrets. I feel like Akshay was out there, and I was kind of interested in picking him, and then didn't go there. Some previous winners from last year: Chris Kirk. Nobody picked up. Nick Taylor. Nobody interested in that. I guess you could throw like Peter Malnati, Steven Yeager, Billy Horschel didn't get picked. You know, there's some guys.
Aldrich Potgeider.
Sure.
Yeah, he was on my list.
Jonathan Vegas, Aaron Rye didn't get picked. Cam Davis didn't get picked. TC, I know that hurts your heart.
Cam Davis is a miss, I feel like. I think he's a proper player. The rest of those I can sleep.
Yeah.
I can sleep on.
I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought this thing was going to go so much deeper.
So did I.
I mean, I was picking, you know, I had everything gamed out by event or whatever. I had some really off the wall shit.
I do think TC, I think you're right in that next year there needs to be some sort of downside if your guy does not play the event that you picked him for.
Exactly.
Or it would go very differently if you only got points in the event that you have the guy for. Like that would go very differently. I wouldn't be taking Cam Young in Puerto Rico if that was the case.
Yeah. Well, listen.
How many
year one?
Just squatting on Cam Young.
How many winners like we think we'll hit on? It'd be a great sort of prediction right here of like, you know.
I mean, if we hit 2, that would be
the number's 2.
wild.
Yeah. Over under's 1.5, I think.
For total?
Yeah.
Like
for the
It's
event
so
that you
hard, dude.
chose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Scotty's probably already won the Masters. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for humoring me. We'll see how this goes, and we can make some adjustments next year. But at least it's
I got
another fun thing to track.
Koala Carl at the John Deere. I had Isaiah Salinda at the Barracuda. Patrick Fishburne at the 3M. Braden Thornberry at Puerto Rico. I mean, I was down. I was on Rob Bolton. I was 150 to 200 on his list.
Start putting together a pitch for next year, TC. We can engineer this so it's got to go deeper. I think that's a good call.
Did nobody pick Big Shot Bob for anything? Is that
correct?
Did he not go off the board? Wow,
we learned a lot today.
Continues.
We learned a lot today.
No, TC sold Big Shot Bob after the road hole.
Yeah,
True.
He cut ties.
He's not a proper player.
That's right. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for humoring me here. Thanks for all the work that went into this, and thanks to everybody for listening. Another year in the books. An early Happy New Year to everybody. Safe travels, safe holidays, and we'll be back for live shows, Soly, starting with the Century.
And look, if you're making it all the way to the end of this episode in late December to the new year, you're more than welcome to check out the Nest, nolayingup.com/join. All kinds of great offerings come with a discount in the pro shop. All kinds of behind the scenes footage that's been going up behind the Nest paywall, which is just an awesome community message board. So many great benefits. nolayingup.com/join. $90 a year. Great offerings, gifts, all that kind of stuff, and it's a great way to support the show if you are thinking about doing it. It's a great time of year to do it. So thank you for everyone.
So if anybody signs up for the Nest or gives it as a gift between now and New Year's, I will recreate any Gary Player video that you want as a personal gift to you. A little bonus gift at the last part of the year. So consider that. Show me a receipt for that you signed it up for the Nest or you purchased it for somebody else, and I will send you a Gary Player video.
You're gonna get so many people who reach out and say, I bought it for somebody on December 24th.
Does that still count?
Backdate it.
Big deals. It's like a car dealership. Big deals come at the end of the month, end of the year. We got to move products.
Hit that quota, man.
Exactly.
And that email there is kvv@nolayingup.com, by the way. That's please feel free to beat him up on that one.
We're going to happy hour going into opening round of the Century. Normally those are on Wednesdays, that's New Year's Day, but Thursday going into the first round of the year, we'll have our first happy hour, and we'll be live to recap the Century on Sunday evening as well. And then we're going to do some sort of, I believe, live recording of the pod. Not a live show, but a live recording of the pod after the TGL debuts in that first week as well. So a lot of good stuff to kick off the year.
What time are we happy houring?
Don't know the answer to that, TC. It's either 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I have my vote based on childcare reasons, but 5 would roll us right. We'll figure that out. We'll announce that when the time comes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy the new year. Thanks to everybody for listening, and we will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.
Crack on. Happy New Year.